All right, Sagittarius, welcome to your monthly sidereal forecast for July 2015. My name is Athen. So this month we've got two full moons, one on the 1st and then one on the 31st of July. So lots of high energy at the polar ends of the month here. So we're at the beginning, lots of energy here in your first house, culmination points of a lot of the new beginnings. Maybe you started around your goals, ambitions, drive, self-image. Over the past 6 months there can be that, but in either case, seeing very clearly, I would say, those goals and drives and things relating to self. And with Pluto transiting here over the past many years, this is going to be a very transformative full moon happening so close to Pluto, within 5 degrees of both Pluto and Mars, which are both very transformative energies. So here, it's non-attachment. You know, I've been saying this in all the videos because that's exactly what Pluto is. Pluto strips away the ego, strips away all of our attachments. And here in the first house, I think you guys have been learning a lot about this because this is the house of ego. It's the house of self. And that energy there, when you have that non-attached perspective, then it becomes very positively transformative, very positively powerful. I mean, all transformations are positive, but we become consciously attuned to them and there's no more resistance and thus no more suffering relating to it. So the more open we are to change, in other words, is a reflection of how attached we are to particular outcomes. So the key here of non-attachment is relating to, again, your goals, your drives, yourself, and also in relation to relationships, one-on-one connections, and everything else on that 7th house, which is legal matters, sales, partnerships, all of that stuff. So balance there too is going to be important at the beginning of the month, but in either case, lots of energy and lots of optimism too while this is happening, because Venus is going to be conjoining up to Jupiter on the 1st as well in this 8th house of transformation, of Pluto's secondary ruler. So I think, as usual, you know, you Sagittarians are quite optimistic about things. And so here, the transformational stuff, you're seeing the positive side of it. You're seeing, you know, the truth. And this has been an ongoing theme for you for the past almost year with Jupiter transiting your 8th house, really seeing the beauty. You're seeing the beauty recently with Venus, but you've been seeing the opportunities and positive side of the ebb and flows of life, of the to and fro, of transformation, of all these things that are oh so important in life, you know, the deeper stuff, the stuff that really matters. So Venus now conjoining up to Jupiter here, further emphasizing that enjoyment and expansion and perhaps opportunities relating to groups and friends, which is 11th house, Venus rules, and then also your 6th house, which Venus rules, relating to your work and day-to-day work mostly, and self-improvement. So I think those areas I think you'll be feeling quite good. Also home, you should be feeling quite good about it too, with Jupiter also ruling your 4th house as well. So that's the beginning of the month, I would say. Certainly feeling good about the optimistic side of things and awareness of your goals, your drives, and perhaps things around 6 months ago. Now on the 5th and 6th, we have the Sun then opposing up to Pluto, emphasizing this balance. And this is the classic example with balancing self and other. So with all of this change and stuff that's happening with yourself over the past many years, with your self-image, with your goals and things like this, it's very important that with that change, there's also this awareness of other, because there's a lot of emphasis here when this happens, you know, a lot of whatever it is. And so balancing this is going to be very important. I think this is going to be a very important part of your chart, actually. This is already where you're going to have a lot of new beginnings here this month with the new moon and a lot of energy happening in the 7th house. So being willing to have the non-attached perspective to relationships also, and be willing to change anything in the relationship side of things and being open to that is the best advice I can give in relation to this opposition up to Pluto. Now on the 5th and 6th as well, Saturn dips back into your 11th house of groups, networks, communities, friends. So over the past 3 years, up until this past 7 or 8 months when he left, but now he's back. He's going back in there. So over the past 3 years, anything that you've really put in a lot of hard work with in order for you to enjoy your work more, in order for you to give and contribute more, in order for you to get involved with things larger than self, or maybe technological things as well, could be a possibility, or humanitarian, philanthropic things also. That has been Saturn in the 11th. So now going back into that and you know, putting in more of that hard work into that area for the next few months while he's there will be a good idea. And I think you'll feel this shift subtly towards the beginning of this month. Now on the 8th, Mercury joins up with Mars and the Sun here in the 7th house, further emphasizing that I think you guys will be thinking quite a bit about relationships in general, as you normally do with Mercury ruling your 7th house. And perhaps forming some connections at work as well with the ruler Mercury of your 10th in the 7th also. But in either case, I think thinking about relationships, communicating, all of that stuff, I think will be a good conscious awareness for you. Now, on the 15th, the new moon is taking place in that 7th house. So like I said, it's perhaps some new beginnings relating to that. And there's a lot of things shaping up on that date. Also, Venus is going to be going into your 9th house of expansion, travel, your Sagittarius house. And so here, I think you can really enjoy any of these things, philosophy, spirituality, travel, things like that, for this middle part of the month, because she does go retrograde on the 25th and 26th. I would say the second half of the month, actually. Certainly enjoy those things and connect on that level, on that expansive level. And definitely a transformation happening perhaps with the routine and the group stuff as well, with Venus ruling that part of your chart. But yeah, that's a shift with that new moon, and also a shift of Mercury conjoining up to Mars right at the time of this new moon in that 7th house. So I think you guys are very direct, very intent on relationships this month. I think you're going to be thinking a lot about them, like I said. And now when they come together, it's very direct with your thinking, very direct with your speech and your communication, which is a good thing. Just remember, because it's an opposition, have compassion. Speak the truth, but in a way that's heart-centered. This is the kind of energy, especially with a conjunction Mercury and Mars like this, where we can say some things that we didn't mean to say, or it can be hurtful, or whatever it is in the relationship area. Not that that's going to be the case, but when you're coming from compassion, that's less likely to happen. And this can be very powerful, where you're actually helping speak the truth and show the truth when appropriate, and when it's coming from the right place. So it's always about compassion and non-attachment. Again, non-attachment to relationships and what the other person's doing or what the other person's thinking, and just coming from that heart center is the best way to work with this. And that can be, like I said, very positively transformative with anything relating to relationships, but really relating to all areas of your life, because there's so much activity here in your 7th house. Now, on the 22nd and 23rd, the Sun conjoins up to Mercury, and when that happens, they both go into your 8th house of depth and transformation and the deeper side of things. So that energy there, has been, like I said, very opportunistic for you. Been very optimistic about it. And so now with this conjunction, this is always a fiery energy of our communications. I think there's a lot of excitement here, perhaps about taking things to a deeper level, perhaps about the deeper side of life, perhaps about, bonds, deeper bonds, whatever it is. I feel like it's probably relating to relationships on some level. And this is bonds not just on the romantic sense, but with friends, with all kinds of relationships where we start to open up. We want to, show more of who we are on the inside, things like this. And wanting to maybe, have that transparency within the relationship. So very good energy there. One thing too with Mercury, just like with that conjuncting up to Mars, just make sure you're bringing conscious awareness to it, because Mercury combusts the Sun, can be very passionate, very, very excited. And so it's very important that we're present with that, being observant of that, and but still, nonetheless, expressing our excitement for these deeper side of things. Now, 25th and 26th, Venus goes retrograde, like I was saying, in that 9th house, further reflecting on the enjoyment of the adventurous side of life. But while that happens, right around the same time, within a day, Uranus goes retrograde in the 4th. So all this liberation energy of the 4th house of home and family, there are some things to reflect on about this over the next 6 months, freeing yourself up about past or home or whatever it's been for you. And reflecting on those home matters and family or past matters for the next 6 months will certainly be fitting for you. Now, on the 31st, we have the second full moon, of the month, which is in Capricorn. So it's involving the second house of the material side of things, of finances, of assets, of resources, and overall your sense of self-worth. So I think your sense of self-worth is certainly highlighted and coming to a sort of culmination at the end of this month, and also perhaps relating to anything new you started in the financial or value side of things for the past 6 months. So a culmination of that stuff perhaps, but in either case, seeing it very clearly, having that illumination. And again, this would be a good idea to balance this deeper stuff, this more transformative stuff that's taking place for you the second half of the month, with remembering to enjoy life, enjoy the simple pleasures, good meal, relaxation, all the stuff that is so vitally important. And remembering that you are in a new level of self-worth of who you are and, what you're doing. So Sagittarius, I hope you guys have a nice month. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check out masteringthezodiac.com. Or if you'd like a personal session, wish you guys the best, and I'll talk to you all next time. Take care.